Our conversation with Indiana County District Attorney Bob Manzi is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. He's on his way to court already this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Todd. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. Good to have you with us once again. We had a pretty big deal happen here in town a couple of days ago with a major drug bust, and a number of folks were taken into custody and are going to enter into the court system. But this was a big one, a Philly to Indiana drug operation. Tell me about it.
Well, this was an operation that had gone on for a good while. We got a lot of information about narcotics being transported across the state, coming from Philadelphia area and being brought into Indiana County. So we partnered with the Indiana Borough Police Department, our drug task force, and several federal agencies, and U.S. Attorney Scott Brady. Conducted a great deal of investigation, and at 6 o'clock Monday morning, we were able to begin effecting several federal search warrants in the area and able to arrest several very significant drug dealers in the area. They're going to be taken into the federal court system and prosecuted there, where we're looking at mandatory sentencings that start at a minimum of 5 years and go up to 20 years. So these are drug dealers that are hopefully going to go away for a very significant period of time.
I want to talk a little bit about that cooperative atmosphere that happens in investigations such as this. And you mentioned there were federal agencies, state agencies, local, all three of those different branches of municipal control were involved in this. That's so important, and I'd like to talk about how that develops, that you get together with different agencies and say, we need some help with this investigation right now. How does that all work out?
Well, I think it develops before there's a problem. Being able to sit down, when I first took office, I sat down with U.S. Attorney Scott Brady, all of our local police departments, our state police departments, members of federal law enforcement that I've known through my career and were introduced when I took office. And you really begin sharing information then. This way, once a case comes up, we don't have to say hello to each other while we're standing around doing arrest warrants. When you build those relationships early on, and when everybody looks at it saying it's more important to get these drug dealers out of our community than to worry about who takes credit, you're able to get a lot of good things done.
I'm interested as well in that relationship with the authorities in Philadelphia and in Montgomery County, because they have to be a part of this as well. Talk about how that is able to be utilized in cases such as this.
Well, the people trafficking narcotics, they really don't stop at one county boundary and say, well, I'm going to stop here. They're going to go wherever is the least restrictive for them to operate their business. And when you work with those agencies, they're collecting intelligence in their communities, we're collecting intelligence in ours. And that's how we're able to build cases to connect the dots. We do that in a great deal of cases. I was just on the telephone yesterday with a police officer from Darby Borough in Delaware County who's helping with the IUP shooting that happened on Valentine's Day here. Mm-hmm. So by sharing that intelligence, there's a whole lot of information out there. And when we take the time and we connect with the right people, we're able to put together better cases, get better sentences, and make our community safer.
We're talking with Indiana County District Attorney Bob Manzi. 7 people taken into custody in association with this drug bust-up that happened the other day. You were very pointed in your comments on the official news release to say this sends a message to drug dealers from Indiana County, and that statement is get out. It's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's children in this community. There's people that lived in this community their whole life. They deserve to be able to live in a safe community, and to have the drug dealers from other communities feel like it's okay for them to come and infect our community is unacceptable. Whether you're from here, whether you're from another town, there's no business bringing that garbage into our community.
We have, of course, had these sorts of cooperative arrangements that have brought down drug rings before here in Indiana County. One has to suspect that it will be an ongoing battle. This isn't the end, and that you'll be involved in others such as this. In terms of the overall drug culture here in Indiana County, as compared to maybe a bigger county like Allegheny County or out east in Philadelphia, and some of the other regionals, Johnstown, Altoona markets, which are more closely associated to us, the Greensburg market, a little bit bigger, but still in our size range. Is the problem you're finding much better or worse here in Indiana County?
I think there's ebbs and flows. You know, when you're able to make a significant arrest like we did this week, it's going to put a major dent into the drug trafficking in our community. And it's important to continue to put those dents into the trafficking and to keep it up over time. And hopefully we're able to put away those sophisticated dealers away in prison for a long period of time so that they don't infect any community.
One of the interesting things to me about this case as well is the type of drug that was involved. In this case, mostly crack cocaine and methamphetamine. A year ago, we might have been talking about heroin and fentanyl and methamphetamine. The types of drugs that are being peddled on our streets must be just a heck of a task to just try to keep up with how these things are becoming popular.
You know, it is, and we have really, really good men and women in law enforcement in our county, with the borough police, with the state police, with the police throughout our community. You know, they do a great deal of work collecting intelligence, working with their resources, because that culture is ever changing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And like I said before, it requires a tremendous amount of vigilance on your part. So you've been in office here for a few months, and the job, as we talked with you at the beginning, a lot of it had to do with familiarizing yourself with cases that were already on the books. I'm assuming you're pretty well up to speed on all of those. How's it been going for you?
It's going slow these days with everything going on in the health world, but we're still working through. You know, we have motions hearings today. I'm preparing for defendant Samir Alford, who had shot at our law enforcement last year. You know, we're looking forward to hopefully getting juries back up to speed so we can get some cases tried.
Yeah, there are a number of sentencing proceedings as well. We highlighted the Alford hearing on our news today, and those things are going to happen, those sorts of hearings. And from your standpoint, it's good that these hearings happen because it enables you to be sure of what you have available to you in terms of evidence as you head into a trial. So there's less of a chance of a mistrial or of a misapplication of evidence.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the fact that we're still able to continue with a lot of the procedures, the court's been working very hard to make sure that people's rights are protected, but we're able to move through what we can move through so that once we get to a point where we're able to bring juries in for trials, we're ready to go.
Is that conference today going to be video?
It will be partially over video, yes.
Okay, very good. Well, we appreciate your time this morning. I know you're very, very busy, and I appreciate that you were able to jump on the line with us here this morning and talk about this drug bust. It's a great thing for Indiana County that we have so many different agencies that are available to us when things like this occur. District Attorney Bob Manzi, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You have yourself a good day.
You too. We'll see you.